to The Color of Success, the Black Academic Experience. My name is Brianna.
And I am Maditito, and we are so excited to bring you the season of The Color of Success. So we had recorded our first episode and we had introduced ourselves, and then after recording all our guests, we had to up our game. So today we're going to have a fun little game where we introduce ourselves, we introduce what we wanted to achieve with this podcast, but we're going to draw cards. So the first card, Brianna, can you tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you did before grad school?
All right, so my name is Brianna. I am currently a fifth-year doctoral candidate at the University of North Carolina, Greensboro. Before starting this program, I was a physical education teacher in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I taught with middle schoolers, and that's where, I had a first-hand seat at the education system and all of its joys and its pains, and it kind of led me to my program here at UNCG. Also to add, I'm from Maryland. That is where I grew up and I was raised, and I still have family there. So I'm just a little, what do they call people that come to a different city?
Transplant?
Yeah, transplant here in North Carolina. I've been here for about the past 15 years.
Oh my God. If you're a transplant, what am I?
So Maditito, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Right, so I can't think of a better word for a transplant, but my name is Maditito. I am an international student, also at UNC Greensboro, and I'm from Lesotho, which is in the south of Africa. I came here in 2019 to start my grad program, and before that, I was a teacher trainer. So before that, I was a math teacher, and then I was a teacher trainer. And so now the point was to get my PhD so I can go back and continue being a teacher trainer. Yeah, go ahead, Bri. Draw the next card.
All right. So the next question asks, why did you choose to go to grad school?
There's so many reasons. So I was actually recruited for my job so that I could come to grad school and teach testing and measurement to teachers in training. I guess that's the technical reason or the professional reason of why I chose to come to grad school. But I think, my family's always been education oriented, particularly my maternal grandmother. She used to pray a lot over her children and her grandchildren to go to school, and we all have degrees, and so it just was always what was expected. I chose to come to the U.S. because the way that grad school works in the U.S. is that you do a lot of coursework before you do a dissertation, whereas in other parts of the world, you apply to a supervisor with a dissertation topic and a semi-fleshed out proposal already. So this was a less traumatic way to do a PhD.
And how do you think that your interest evolved since you've been in the U.S., especially in grad school?
So much. So I am doing a PhD in educational measurement, which is not as big in other parts of the world as it is here. But now that I've seen sort of what it is, I'm not sure. I think it's with great reason that it's not as big in other parts of the world. But basically, I think my interest, or at least the interest with the program, was to understand more about psychometrics, to be able to implement some of the state-of-the-art analyses. But I think really my personhood just cannot do that uncritically. And so a lot of my interests have changed in that I have learned to infuse who I am, my beliefs, my race, my beliefs about my race, my understanding and knowledge of history into what I'm doing. And so I think I've learned to bring more of myself into what I do. But my interests have shifted from like technical mathematics, psychometric, statistical things to more reasoned, principled, critical, but also better communicated. So, so not just saying what our results are and what they mean for everyone, but sort of putting it in the context of who we are, what our beliefs are, what decisions we make, and things like that.
Right. It's always nice to hear about that, especially since you said part of your reason for coming to the program was because you didn't have to necessarily have a gung-ho idea for what you wanted your dissertation to be on. So what it would have been if you had to seems to be very different.
I mean, I'm thinking back on the proposal piece. I don't know if I could have done that on my own. This is probably why there are not a lot of PhDs, right? Yeah. To be able to sit by yourself with not a lot of guidance and come up with a topic and a proposal, I think that's harder than that. That was probably the hardest part of this journey. How about you?
So choosing to go to grad school, as I said a little earlier, I was a physical education teacher and I had a lot of interests that aligned with students, let's say students, not necessarily schools, but the betterment of students and like how to make students their best selves both in and outside of the classroom, because school is only one aspect of a child's life. However, it is the place where they spend the majority of their time. And so I had a, approach to teaching that didn't necessarily align with some of the approaches that more established teachers were using. I just really wanted students to have a place where they could feel comfortable and grow, even if it necessarily wasn't the area that I felt like, let me go back. So I became a physical education teacher because I feel like the physical education classroom gives students the opportunity to tap into other parts of themselves that they may not see in a traditional classroom. So I would always just preface with the fact that I wanted my students to grow in some aspect when they left this classroom. Like, no, you may not be the best athlete when you leave this classroom, but you may have a new idea of what sportsmanship looks like or how to communicate with people, because those are all skills that you do need in sports, but you also need in real life. And so because those were my priorities, my experiences in education just weren't the greatest, because I saw firsthand, disparities in how students were treated based off of maybe their racial background, their socioeconomic background, whatever the case may be. And I just wanted to enter a space where I felt like I could change some of those programs or those policies around students. And I did a lot of research on different types of programs because I wasn't sure of the direction, like if I wanted to go towards like an educational leadership or an educational policy type program. And I stumbled upon this program because I was in this general area. And after talking to some of the faculty that was here at the time, it just seemed like they had a real investment in social justice and trying to reframe how we think through a lot of these processes. So that is what attracted me to this program, and specifically the program evaluation side of the program, which, if I haven't said, I'm also in the same program as Maisitso. However, she's on the more testing and measurement, and I am on the program evaluation side of the program, which is more like qualitative in nature. I would say is a lot of the focus of the people or the students in that program.
Okay, here's a little fun one. What's your favorite self-care practice?
I know that's fun, but it's not necessarily the easiest one
to answer honestly
on air. However, my favorite self-care practice, I really love to spend money. So I like to shop. I like to buy nice jewelry. That's really like a hobby of mine, creating jewelry that I wear, from time to time. Sometimes I don't ever wear it, but I just like the process of creating it. I also really like creating things in general. So I will do things like garden.
Bake bread.
Yeah. Make bread, make ginger bugs, whatever I feel like creating at the moment. I'm a DIY person, so anything that uses my hands is really a good form of self-care for me, because it allows me to tap out of like school and just focus on something that's very tangible and I can experience success in a short amount of time.
You definitely are the let's start knitting.
Yeah.
Let's plant seedlings friend. I think for me, I really do enjoy things where I take time out of my day. So early on in the program, I enjoyed going for a run, and not just for the fitness, not just for the mental health, but just saying this is an hour that I'm taking to myself, and it just gave me space to think. When I couldn't do that anymore after I fell and broke my knee, I did quite enjoy like going for acupuncture, which was nice. It's also just a way to get time out of my week to be with myself. But I think later in the program, definitely going for therapy. Like that is the biggest form of self-care. And I think it's just been so needed, so instrumental in sort of just keeping as grounded, but also understanding sort of just in general, people need to have the space to unpack, but definitely through this process where there's so many things to consider, so many expectations. So that has been a nice little self-care thing that we do.
All right, so I'll pull another question. Oh, this is a big one. So why did you choose to start the Color of Success podcast?
You probably should start this one because this again was another of your, hey, let's do a podcast. But I think, just to say that this had been the next in a series of let's do something creative, let's step out of these dissertations, out of just thinking in terms of only our academics. And so when you had said this to me, I think personally I can just say it sort of interacted with my realizing that I also don't talk about myself enough, right? Like you often get bogged down into being yourself that you don't see yourself from an outside perspective. And so just being a way to express my ideas, my thoughts. Yeah, so that's why I accepted when you made the offer. You did undersell it because you said we can record it in one summer, it'll be one and done, we can release it. And it has been more taxing, more demanding, but also so much more rewarding. So talking to people, I think initially when we did it, it was out of frustration that we're going through all of this. What did other people do when they went through this? And so just talking to people and seeing, first of all, hearing that they made it, right? Like the end is nigh.
People can do it.
Exactly.
We can do it too.
So hearing that there is an end in sight was nice, but also just hearing their experiences and just being validated in, some of our guests were sharing similar things that we were going through, like similar experiences that we were going through. Some of them were even highlighting things that we minimize, right? But that we still had to go through. So it has been so rewarding to go through this process of learning from others, hearing from others, but also celebrating them, right? And I think for some of our guests are just like, no one calls me doctor. And it's like, absolutely not. Like after all the stress and strain, we celebrate you. And so, yeah. How about you? Can you tell our listeners why you came up or how you came up with this idea?
Well, so the Color of Success. The podcast really just, I felt was like a space that I feel like Black professionals, especially those with doctoral degrees, needed. Too often behind closed doors, you have these conversations, oh, girl, it's stressful over here because of X, Y, and Z, or they won't da-da-da. But there's never been a platform to highlight those experiences. Well, let me not say there's never been, but there aren't enough platforms that highlight these experiences. And these are conversations that need to be heard, not only to reaffirm people like us who are going through these experiences, but to show people who may not be able to identify with these experiences what it's like and what maybe spark conversations on how these environments can be changed to be more accommodating of Black professionals in graduate programs. I think I do agree. I undersold the whole idea. I thought it would be like a quick, easy summer project. But once we started, it didn't necessarily take off as fast as we thought. But we really enjoyed providing that space, and that look on a lot of our visitors' face, like after our interviews, is just like, oh, so rewarding, because they're just like, wow, like I've never had this opportunity to reflect, or in a sense kind of be validated that those reflections matter, like they're worth speaking up on. And so I feel like that's very powerful, and it's something that I really enjoy doing, and I enjoy doing with Marititso. So it's been great, and that's why we have decided to start this space.
Yeah, and really, I mean, I don't want to oversell it, but we are so excited to share some of these episodes. Okay, one more. Oh, this is easy for me, but who's your biggest cheerleader?
My biggest cheerleader. So I don't get in trouble, I'll say my biggest cheerleader is my husband. Mr. Singletary. But no, to be honest, I think my cheerleaders come in different forms. Like, depending on what I need, I go to certain people. So, like, if I need support that's just kind of like reassuring it'll be okay and not trying to get too deep into like what the issue is, I definitely go to my husband, because he's never been through a doctoral program, so I can't expect him to sit here and let's discuss my dissertation with me all day. However, I do often go to my CISO, especially about school and just the way that I think about these problems that we are faced with as students. Because sometimes I'm like, girl, I do not understand. Is it me or is it them? And I internalize that it's me, but she has to remind me that it is them.
I love that.
So yeah, my cheerleaders are many different people, but those are two big ones to name a couple.
Well, mine is obvious because it's my daughter. Her name is Noni, and she really, other than being brave and moving across countries to be here with me as I do this program, she really is, just this morning, she woke me up with a cup of coffee. And I was telling my best friend, I think I've arrived. She made the most beautiful cup of cappuccino for me. And there's no better love language than that. But also, I think, as Black people, we come from villages, right? And so it's always a village standing behind us. And I think that really is part of what this is also, is just creating that village and celebrating that village, because our families are here, right? Our spouses, our children, but also friends, also, extended family members, and. And
it's just so important sometimes as grad students to have cheerleaders that don't know anything that you're going through, where you could just go be like, let's just have fun and not worry about all this academic stress. I've got a few friends that I just love to escape with. That is important.
Yeah, well, we are very excited for the season. Our next episode is going to be a very special guest, Dr. Hooks.
My brother.
And so we can't wait for you to go on this journey with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell button, and the like button. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram. We are @_color of success. Bye-bye now.